What's happening? All right, we're going to be doing some color grading in a minute. But first, I need to do some sound stuff. I need to do some stuff with music. So let me just get the comment section open here and everything so I can see what we're doing. And I'll bring it up there too, just in case. Perfect. And so I'm waiting for Logic to open. And as soon as Logic opens, I've got some temp music from one of my composers. I'm going to drop it in and sort of see how that plays. It is temp music, so it's going to have a click track to it, and it's just him singing, I think. But it is to get the timing and make sure that this is the piece of music that we want to use. So, still waiting on Logic to open. But in the meantime, you know, the trailer is available on YouTube. You can go to parabolas.com to learn more about me and some of the things that I've done. You can go to thedarknessrolledoverher.movie to learn more about the movie and to watch the trailer to the film yourself or to share the movie with someone else. You can go to fivecoffeesinabook.com and get a free copy of the ebook that the movie is based on, which I also wrote. And there's also a discussion guide there so that you can share it with friends. That's the best way to read the book, honestly, is to read it with somebody else so you can read it and talk about it. So we're loading up Logic, and hopefully everything here will be exactly what we expect. And it's just about to pop open here any second now. So here we go. Here we go. It's trying. There it is. All right. So we got Logic open now. And I had to reset some audio things. I'm just going to play a little section and make sure the audio is working correctly. Oh, yeah, I've got to change this back to the surround sound. So we're going to change the output device to this right here. And that should be configured correctly. It'll take it a second to connect. We'll beach ball for just a second. And then when that's done, okay, and that's done, so I can close this window. Oh, it just defaulted to 8 channel again. Well, let's see how this works.
The ones in the case are just kindly to look at. Keep the more usable ones on the rack.
All right, that seems like that's sounding okay. I'll just have to go back and take a look at that a little later. But everything looks like it's, for the most part, is okay. I've introduced some new tech since I was last working on the audio. So the music that we're wanting to drop in is towards the end of the film. So if you don't want any spoilers of any kind, then you may want to avoid all of this. But we're going to the end of the film, and I'm actually just going to go ahead and scroll all the way down to the bottom here. I've got everything kind of color coded. So the blue is my dialogue, and then this. Oh, it keeps bouncing up to the top. Stop doing that. Blue is the dialogue. Purple is some diegetic music. The screen is Foley. It's still loading some stuff, I guess. Green is Foley, like footsteps and clothing and that sort of thing. I have over 400 tracks, so it takes it a while to kind of get everything loaded. Then we get into some like teal blue below this, and that will be hard effects. So there's the teal blue. So this is like car noises and things like that, things that are pre-recorded. A little bit different than Foley. Keep going. Red is background sounds, just like atmospheric noise or dogs barking in the background or the wind. And then we get to purple, which is our temp music. So this big long purple thing is the output from my composer Shane. This is the temp music of pretty much every song in the movie. So I'm just going to click on that, and then I'm going to command. Oh, and actually, let me run Keycaster so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to do Command D. Try that again. Command D. There we go. And that's going to make a new empty track that has all the same settings as the track above it. And I want to go to the place where I have this acapella tune, and it looks like it starts back in here. Yeah, because these sections right here are the acapella tunes. Let's just zoom into that, because that's where Sean's track is going to go that I'm about to drop in. Just kind of zoom in to where that starts there, somewhere right around in there. And I haven't listened to his track at all yet, so let's go into Finder. Well, I lost it, so I have to bring it over here. And I put it in this folder, audio, Sean's music. There we go. The world is waiting for the sunrise test. So I'm just going to quick look at it real quick so I can hear what it sounds like. And you ought to be able to hear it some kind of way. Down in the lazy Okay, great. So it starts right on the track. Like I said, this is temp music. The final piece is going to be all women's voices. It's going to be all a cappella. He's got the woodblock, it was like a click track in there, and he's using the piano so that I can hear the harmonies. This is totally just so I can lay it in and make sure the timing for everything is right before we go to record the actual recording. So that's what we're going to do. So since it starts right on the music, basically, it looks like I can just drop it right in. So I'm just going to grab it from Finder, and I'm just going to drop it right into Logic and let go. There it is, and it's purple because it's in a purple track. So I'm going to zoom in a little more, and I'm just going to have it start basically right here where, hello, welcome. We're just testing some temp music for my film. So I'm dropping that in right there. So we'll have it start where the old one started. And now I'll zoom out, and I will select those three things there, and Control M will mute those things. So I'll just turn off the old temp track, and oh wait, well, not this one. I want to keep that one. And so what I'm looking for is how's this going to last? And it looks like it might be a little long. So we will just start it and see if it needs to be nudged. Actually, a good place to know where it needs to be nudged is to go here to where the dialogue begins and see, because it's supposed to go into like oohs and ahs or whatever at that point. And I can tell by looking at the waveform that I'm going to need to knock this way down. So with my region selected, I'm going to do Control Command Shift 2, and that's going to put 2 automation points at the beginning and end of my track. And I'm just going to go ahead and at the beginning and end of my region. I'm going to go ahead and pull it down until we know for sure. Okay, so this is obviously not the final song it's going to sound like. It's going to be all women's, sort of like an a cappella barbershop quartet kind of thing. But Sean, my composer, it's him oohing and singing with piano for the harmonies, and the woodblock is like a click track just keeping time. So this is just to see, is the timing right, and how does this work out? So let me go back and look at his text that he sent me. And let's see, the recording needs to start right around 2:40:25:07. Okay, great. So he actually gave me a time to start. So if I hit Control Home, that takes me to the beginning of that selection. And so 2:40:25:07. So he actually has it starting later. I'm thinking the timing might not quite work out because... Oh, actually, maybe I have it. Maybe I have it there. 25:07. All right. Let's see. Command option. Okay, there we go. 25:07. So now I'm going to nudge my region and get the vocals starting right there. So that's pretty close. All right. So now we're just going to watch it through and see, how does this fit? What does this sound like?
Sweetly you are dreaming as the dawn comes slowly streaming. Wake and love in your bower. Greet our rising hour, dear one. The world is waiting for the sunrise. Every rose is heavy with dew. The thrush on high, his sleepy mate is calling, and my heart is calling, and my heart is and my heart is calling.
Okay, so that's not bad. Timing is actually decent. There's a couple things I might work on. Probably going to have to get with Sean directly on this. Again, that's not what the final product is going to sound like. The final product is going to sound more like the temp track that we're drawing from, which is from the Chordettes. So it's a female barbershop quartet, but we don't have rights to that recording to be able to use, so we have to generate one of our own. The song is public domain, but the recording is not. So we're able to do our own. We're able to use the song, but we're not able to use that recording of the song, and not really that arrangement. So Sean's doing his own arrangement. So it's so far sounds good. I think it'll sound really good with the female voices. There's a couple of timing things I want to work out, a couple of chord things I want to work out, but overall, I think that we're ready. I think that we're ready to do a few final revisions and move into recording. So yeah, it's very cool. So I'm just going to leave that right there. I'm just going to save that, and we're going to close that and come back to it. So by the way, do you recognize this guy? This guy right here in the middle, he looks familiar, right? I just like to be in my own movies. There's no crime. No crime in that. Okay, so we're going to save that. We're going to close Logic. We're going to look at Beautiful Matilda. May she rest in peace. Gone over a year now. We miss her. We miss her every day. And now we're going to load Resolve and see if we can get some color grading done. So if you're watching, you got questions, you want to know more about the film, you want to know more about me, please feel free to pipe up in the chat, ask a question. This was all filmed in Tennessee. We filmed it in the fall of 2020, and just been editing it ever since. The crew most days was me and my buddy Noah and our PA Caitlin, and we had a couple other crew people that helped out a few days, and we had lots of friends that were cast, and we had some friends helping behind the scenes with some things, helping get locations and things like that. But all the heavy lifting, all the big stuff, I've been doing myself. I edited it myself. I did the sound design myself, and now I'm doing the color myself. And it's been challenging, particularly what we're working on now, which is I've been trying to get some effects from After Effects into Resolve, and I'm not super happy with what we've been doing. What is enable? Is it D? Yeah. So like this is an effects clip, and like this is the original clip. The colors aren't quite the same. You can see they're just a little darker, a little desaturated. The gamma's a little different. It's just a little... It just loses color in the bottom end. And I don't want to sacrifice the look of this shot for what is essentially happening in one very small portion of the shot, effects-wise. So I've got to figure out color management in After Effects. I thought we had it all figured out, and I don't know if it's the new version of After Effects that has changed things, or what, but yeah, I'll have to figure that out. Meanwhile, Apple has released, their new computers, and so I'm still running on my laptop, which is an M1 MacBook Air, and I've got a external monitor connected to it. What you're seeing when I go full screen is what's on my external monitor. So this is my 4K, color calibrated BenQ monitor. And I'm thinking about getting one of these new Mac Minis, and because I essentially would still have just the one big screen, because the Mac Mini, doesn't come with a screen, and but I would have a much faster computer to be able to render and play back in real time and all of that. So really kind of considering. But anyway, all right, I'm going to turn that effect off for now. We're going to go into color, and let's just continue doing some color stuff. I'll have to worry about this After Effects stuff, I guess, a little later. So what I have been doing is I've got all my clips grouped, and the way Resolve processes color grading is you have a timeline grade. And so that is for your whole movie. That is everything in the timeline is subject to these things. And then it has your group. And then it goes down into the individual clips. So you can color grade a whole group of stuff, and then you can go into the clip, and you can do things in the clip. And with the group, there's group pre-clip and group post-clip. So that means that you can do everything that you want to the group, and then you can do some stuff to the clip, and then after that you can do more to the whole group. And so that allows you to do some fine tuning. So what I have been using that to do is in my group pre-clip, I'm doing as much color balancing as I can for an entire group of clips that were shot under similar circumstances. Then clip by clip, I'm going in and nudging the color balance so that each clip, is correctly color balanced. And usually I only need to make little tweaks at the clip level. Then for the group post-clip is where I'm doing my color grade. That's where I'm making my creative decisions, and that's applying that to the whole group. And again, I'm going back into the clip level to tweak, some things going into the color grade. And then at my timeline level, essentially what I'm doing is just applying things that would sort of apply to, a final film print. So a final film print grain, a final film print LUT to kind of get the final, filmic colors. A little sharpening, a little halation, and really that's it. So, so I'm going to look at group pre-clip here, and I'm going to see. It looks like I've done some work here on this group, and I'm actually kind of liking how it looks on screen. But we need to also pop out our monitors, our scopes, because we need to look at it in the waveform, and we need to look at it on the vector scope so we know where our skin tones are. We know exactly where all of our light and color are at a mathematical level, because even though I have my monitor calibrated, we just want to make sure that everything is copacetic. So to do proper color grading, I need to change the colors of my office here. I'm going to turn off this very bright light that is in my eyeballs. Not good for color grading to have bright lights shining into your eyeballs. So, so the beauty of this webcam is, though, even it is much darker in my office now, you can actually see me better. So we're going to leave it like this, and this allows me to I can still see everything okay, but now I can color grade properly, and I don't have weird colors making my eyes do funny things. So, I think everything here has been color balanced okay. I want to look at the group. Looks like I've put a creative grade on everything, and everything is honestly looks fine, looks good. I mean, looks, kind of how I want it to look. You may not like it, but this is kind of what I want. So everything's looking good. I think I've done this section also. Maybe not. I'm looking to see how everything is grouped too. Looks like I've got all this kitchen stuff as its own group. And it looks like I've done some creative grade stuff. And I haven't gone through clip by clip. But maybe I don't need to if the clip looks fine, There might be some stabilization stuff I need to do or some cropping that I need to do. But, otherwise things are looking good. We go outside the house here, and what have we got? Some group pre-clip stuff. This is looking kind of crushy, so I may go in and fix this a little bit. I haven't done anything at the clip level here, but it doesn't look that bad. It's hard to know where I should begin today because there's like so much to do. I guess let's just go to the beginning of the film. How do you feel about that? So I'll just hit home. That'll take me to the very beginning. That'll render the Parabolas title, I do believe. And I've done a pass on these opening clips that are like in the bedroom, but they're not correct. They don't look good yet. I haven't got them all looking the same yet. They're sort of wildly different. I'm going to come back and do them when I have when I feel a little more confident about what I'm doing. Some of it's looking kind of cool, like the underwater stuff is looking pretty neat, but still, it's like it's too dark and things like that. So we're going to come back and I want to do that stuff a little closer to the end, because that's the first thing you see in the movie. I want it to look good. I want it to be the most experienced color gradist I've ever been. The most experienced colorist I've ever been before I come back to that stuff. And I have these things here, which, look at this. I think this looks really good. All the stuff in the kitchen here is looking pretty good. I think this is a really nice looking shot. The window looks really nice. You can see it's really filling out the scopes very nicely. Grain looks good. The shot. I just love this shot. I love how this looks. Let me take it full screen for you. The hot spot on her hair. She's a little underexposed. The grain is nice and organic and rich. There's lots of color, but it's not super saturated. Lots of bright spots, lots of dark spots. Are there other things I might want to do to this? Yeah, maybe. Let's go to the clip level. Have I done any? I said I've done nothing really at the clip level. So we'll come back and attack that. But I've pretty much gone through here and balanced and graded. So it's just a matter of kind of going through the clip level and fine tuning some things. I'm going to do that, I think, sort of last step. Bathroom stuff, not looking too shabby. Again, nice shot, great highlight in the eyes, a little sparkle in the eyes. You know, it's hot spot in the hair with a little bit of sort of the red bloom halation there. Nice rusty color coming out of the blacks. Blacks, sort of golden highlights. The grain stitches everything together really nicely. Just, man, it just looks so good. I'm just really happy with how this looks. On this nighttime stuff. That doesn't look terrible, but it needs some work. We need to keep working on that. Again, this is one of my favorite shots here by this lamp. And just the little eye light. You can see when she goes to set it down on the table. Like a little sparkle right there. That's a $25 Amazon LED light we just turned on just to get the reflection in her eyes. Just get a little eye light, a little sparkle there. There you can see it. This is so nice. So, you know, I'm pretty happy with all this for the most part. Again, I'm probably going to go through at the clip level and do some things. All right, then we move outdoors. Now, I had done all of this stuff at one point, and now I'm thinking probably needs to be, you know, redone. But I don't know. It's not terrible. So let's clean this up. Let's just practice by going back to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my color grade things and I'm going to select these 3 nodes and I'm just going to disable them. Okay? So that's going to take away my creative grade. Then I'm going to go to my timeline node and I'm going to go to my timeline things and I'm going to disable those. And I'm going to disable my grain. So all of my timeline stuff is turned off now. Now I'm going to go back to my group pre-clip and I'm going to turn off the grain there. And so now, and actually I'm going to go ahead and disable these because we're going to turn them back on one at a time. And so now this should be, if I hit this bypass, this should be exactly what my video file looks like on its own. Yeah, and I hit bypass and there's no change, right? You see that, right? So that's what I want. Okay, so I'm going to start here with this first node, which is balanced luminance, and I'm going to just turn it on. And I'm going to look at what's going on in my scopes. And actually, this is pretty good. It's kissing the top, it's kissing the bottom. Most of it's there in the middle. You know, it's not bad. Let me just disable it and re-enable it. It's a little contrasty. It's a little contrasty. So I wonder, let me pull up my wheels down here. Okay, pivot is good. So part of me wonders if maybe I need to bring up some of this, which is sort of low mid. Maybe if I need to bring the middle up, I bring the gamma up a little. So I'm just going to play around with these wheels just a little bit. So I'm going to raise my gamma. And I'm going to bring my gain down. So I've got a lot of stuff that's sort of blowing out the top there. And I don't want to blow out too much out of the top. So I don't want to lose too much out of my top end. But I don't want my skin tones crushed down into the bottom. And then with my lift, I can drop my lift, get those blacks, raise my lift, but I think I want to drop it mostly. And I want to go back and forth between that and this. Oh, I also need to make sure that at my clip level that I have everything turned off. And it looks like I do. Okay. So when I look at this shot, I'm going to make an entirely different set of choices. In which case, maybe I need to break these up into 2 groups since there's a little bit different lighting conditions here. But let me take my gain back. I'm just looking at like that hot spot in her hair. I don't want to lose it, you know. But so that's a lot of contrast. I'm going to take my gain down and my gamma up. Gain back down. going to take my lift up and get it off the bottom there. Ooh, this is tough. And part of it is this, sort of this is my shot here. And, I could go into my raw settings, and I could change some settings with my exposure. And I got ISO 400. Maybe my ISO needs to be 200. And then my exposure can just be maybe normal exposure. I'm not sure that I gain anything out of that. I mean, it's basically should be kind of the same math. And for some reason the wheels don't seem to be doing anything now. Why is that? Oh, because I have the bypass on. Derp. Derp, derp, derp. Alright, so let's pull the lift off the bottom and let it kiss the bottom until it starts to crush just a little. Okay, great. Now we're going to pull the gamma down until the skin tones kind of make some sense. And if I pull the gain down until my highlights aren't blowing out as bad. I'll go back to that gamma, get the middle where I want it, bring some gain down some more. That's starting to look like something. I might take my lift down just a little more. Okay, but now I need to look and see, how's this affecting my other shot. That doesn't look bad. It's a lot lower contrast. But it looks okay. Welcome. All right, so let's add a little more contrast here, especially looking at the shots of the older woman there. So we're just going to pull the lift down a little bit. Shot like this, I can take my gain up a little. I just don't want to lose a lot of information in her forehead there, or the top of her nose. I can pull the gamma up some and just get her general skin tone up. Pull the gain back down, gamma up, gain back down. Take that lift down just a little more. Okay, that's looking like something. Welcome. If you got any questions about the film, please feel free to ask. And you're right, Mrs. Hittlemeier is a cutie patootie. She's adorable. So these are looking okay. Just a lot of things kind of happening here. Also, this is a different color than this, right? I guess there was some lens flaring or something going on. Let me make sure my white balance settings are the same. 6,000, and this is set to 6,000. Yeah, this seems like almost different white balance, doesn't it? I don't know if this is from a different take. I'm going to set this back at 1.3 and put this back on 400. Alright, so luminance wise, these are looking okay. why is this? Let's look at the clip level. And let's just see. Let's see if anything that I currently have on has got a color temp adjustment. Shouldn't. But it feels like this shot alone needs a color temp adjustment, yeah? So I'm just going to go with the clip level here. And let's just go to the raw settings. And I'm just going to dial the color temp back until it looks like the others. In fact, let's do this. Let's go to this shot here, which is kind of what we're cutting it with. And I'm going to grab a still. Grab still. And then I'm going to go to this shot and I'm going to play the still. There we go. So now I'm working on this shot on the color temperature here. I just want to get it similar. Yeah, that alone is not going to do it. I'm just going to have to do something individual. Oh, that's not right. I'm going to have to do something individual with this clip. I think it's just the sun is probably flaring, you know, whatever filters I have on the lens or something. So I'm just going to have to figure that out on my own. Did I just break that? All right. So I'll turn the still off. Okay. So I just need to not use that one as my reference. I'll need to use this one as my reference. And Luma, I think we're good. I think the Luma on this is okay. So now we're going to go back to our... Oh, well, here's one thing. Is this... This has a bunch of stuff turned on. Oh, that's... I see. So that first one is correct. It's that I did not turn off all the clip stuff in this other one. So that is correct. This is correct. This is what this looks like naked. Okay. Yikes. So Luma, how do we look? Gwen's shot, that looks decent. We just need more... Let's go back to Group Pre, Bounce Luma, looking at our wheels. Just take it up a little more. I don't know, the Luma is kind of okay. I'm going to bring the gamma up some more. Just bring that midsection up. So I can see into those shadows a little better. Alright, so this is the original video. Oh, yikes. And this is what we're looking at now. Definitely is better. Previous clip. This is Hittlemeyer. This is the original. This is what we're looking at now. Definitely better. Again, I think we can pull the lift down a little, get some... Well, I don't want to... I'm looking at the scopes, and I don't want these colors to lift too much down on the bottom there. This is tough, just looking at the scopes, man. was kind of doing this by eye, but I'm trying to eye the scopes as well. Now let's start there and we'll come back. We'll go to the color now. We're going to balance the color. Let's enable this clip. All right, this was an attempt to balance out the color a little. It's hard because there's not really anything white, pure white in these clips. Her hair, I guess. This is supposed to be a little blue-green, and you can see in the scopes that it is. We would like to see it a little warmer along the skin tones, but... Alright, let's go ahead and enable the contrast. Oh, that reduced contrast? No. Now we're going to change this a lot, because what I want to do is actually increase the contrast. So I'm going to double-click contrast to reset it. And I'm actually just going to turn it up. So I have a contrast button, which is here. And I'm just going to turn the contrast up a little. Already looking better. I'm going to look at these shots of Gwen. Yeah, I'm liking that, but color is still... Now we are going to do some cine sat here, which is going to mess with our density and things like that. So let me go ahead and enable that. And I'm going to make sure that this is color space HSV, channels 1 and 3 are turned off, so this should just be sat as I move the gain up and down. And it looks like nothing has really been done here, so I'm going to up the saturation a little bit. Okay. If I take it down, it goes black and white. If I take it up, kind of up in the saturation a little. And I'm going to go back to this Luma node because it's just not contrast enough. I'm going to punch this black down without crushing it. I'm going to bring my gamma back down, bring my gain back up. I need some stuff at the top of the scope there, and I don't want my skins over it. My skin tones I want just underexposed. And there's some crushing, tearing at the door there that I'm trying to avoid. I don't want to completely crush things out. All right, that already looks much better. Okay, next node, color, balance, contrast. So I'm not trying to make it look creative here, I'm just trying to balance it. And I feel like this is balanced. I feel like all these shots, look like they were shot in the same place at time now. I feel like it's balanced. Okay, but I have to go shot by shot and do maybe some individual things, but it's balanced. So at this point, I'm going to turn my grain on. Okay. And I am going to I'm going to start back here, make sure we're still back here at the beginning. And we're going to go to the... So these here, starting here, have the clip level nodes turned on. I think they look pretty good. So what am I doing here at the clip level? I've got some exposure. I've got some clip contrast. Nothing's happening in the contrast. I've got some color balancing, some cinesat. What am I doing here? It looks like I've got doing something with the wheels, some decontrast maybe. And then I've got a secondary. I've got a window around her, where I've got some things happening on her, and then I've got some things happening behind her as well. The problem with this is it's a little too dramatic, and so when it animates, there's like a little halo around her because it tracks with her as she moves. So I can either just turn it off. Maybe is the way to go. Let's see if I turn that off and I turn this off. I don't even really notice anything happening then. So why don't I turn this on, but just decrease the strength? So I'll go to the mat, and yeah, I've already got it down to 80%. So what if I took this down to like 60%? So it's not as strong. And then whatever we're doing to her face, I'll just try leaving that alone. So let me turn this on and off and see. That's still quite a bit of difference. Let's just make it a like 0.3. So there's just a little bit going on in the background, but it's just enough that it kind of like highlights her a little bit. But as it moves around, we're not going to be distracted by this halo aura that she has. All right, so I'm going to go back into these other clips here, and I'm going to enable all these things that we're doing here, and I'm going to make sure, oh, now I've got to go through every single one of these clips and make sure that this is at 0.3%. Luckily, it stays on her. Great, and that's it. Okay, great. So in this last clip, I may have to break out and do on its own, but we'll deal with that in a minute. So got Mrs. Hiddlemeyer kind of all set here now. And so now I just need to go to these first clips and make sure that we have everything enabled, because I like the work that's been done here already. And we're going to go next clip, next clip, next clip. Okay. Interesting that all of this has been turned off. So what happens if we turn all this back on? Okay, and then same thing here. She's got, wait, why is this red? Something going on with the saturation here that is crazy. Like this shot looks perfect. And so why doesn't this one? Is it because of this? Not even sure really what's happening in these. I'm going to turn these off until I can figure out what's going on with that. Okay, something crazy is going on here, so I'm just going to turn these off until we get to a result that we like. Turn all these off. Okay, so the first one we turn on is the clip exposure. That's not terrible. Clip contrast. Okay. Clip balance. You know, it's roughly balanced, I guess. It looks a little cold. Go back to the clip exposure here. Contrast is alright. Balance is okay. Now we turn on the cine sat. This is where that's a little crazy. Let's look at that. Yeah, I'm going to turn that that saturation down just a little bit. In fact, let's just reset that. Okay. Why don't I like this? It's too milky and blue or something. Yeah. See, that's warmer and more contrasty as it comes out. Turn these off. Let's start here. That's still okay. I don't hate that. Clip contrast. Okay. Looks like there's more than contrast happening. Primary balance, log grade. Oh, a log grade. Why is there a log grade on it? I think maybe that was a mistake. Yeah, I don't know why the shadows got raised in the log grade. Yes, so now there should be just a contrast adjustment. Now it says just log grade. Got contrast at 1018. So we're going to reset the log grade panel. And we're going to go just to the normal wheels. And we're going to put contrast at 1018. And so now it should have just primary grade. Still says log grade. For reasons I don't understand. But anyway, it's a contrast adjustment. reset the node grade. I've got clip contrast selected. I've got primary color wheels, and I've got the normal wheels, the normal color wheels, and I'm going to change the contrast. It still says log grade. That's weird. All right, I'm turning the balance. Balance also changed some things, which is interesting. And it's here in the wheels. And it looks like it has changed a bunch of lift, gamma, and gain, and not actually changed any color. So we're going to reset that, because there's not really any color here I care to change. Now we'll turn the saturation on, and it's fine. So now we'll turn our secondaries on, get the clip of her face, which there's not even anything really happening there. It's just motion tracked with the power window. Now we'll turn the background on, and it's going to darken the background a little bit. This is the one where we need to go here and probably turn it down even farther. It's already at 0.6. Let's try it at 0.3. All right, so it's doing just a little bit of isolating her. It's just darkening Mrs. Hettelmeyer just a little bit. And what I would do, maybe, since the shot, well, it does kind of move, I guess. I would almost track it onto Mrs. Hettelmeyer instead of tracking it onto her, but I would kind of have to see it in motion to really know what's going on. Now, I turned on this depth map, and this has gone red, and I don't know what red means. So this is where we're going to do some searching, and I guess we'll just load up a Safari window here. Davinci Resolve node red. Oh, it must be something with a fusion node. Red nodes and fusion. Color corrector nodes. Names appear in red letters instead of white when working in fusion. The workspace console, I see what happens to be an error log. A frequent error message reads, cannot get the parameter. Interesting. Okay, so obviously there's something going on with fusion here. So what are we doing in fusion? So let's see what all we have enabled. We've got a power window of some kind. And then there's also an open effect. Let me go to fusion and see if there's anything. Nothing really in fusion about this shot. So we'll go back to color. And we'll just turn off this depth map. Still rendering red. I'll turn the depth map back on. Depth map preview. Let's see if it will give us a preview of the depth map in some kind of way. Maybe it doesn't like using this effect with the power window. I don't know. There's the depth map preview. It gives me her hand and her face and skin and no background. Okay. So I'm not sure what the red is about there. And I'm not totally sure what is being rendered here. So this has external key and HDR. This has some HDR stuff going on. Okay. If I turn it off, it looks like that. I turn it on. Basically, it looks like it's darkening everything except for her. It's basically cutting her out. It's actually doing a really good job of it. So I don't know why it's red. So let's go to Workspace Console. And that should give us whatever errors we've got here. Attempt to index field current frame a nil value. Well, isn't that interesting? So let's go to the next frame. I mean, it's still in red. Has it got something to do with, you know, it being locked or caching? I thought maybe it had to do something with caching, that it was a node that needs to be cached but hasn't been cached yet. Let's do some more research here. Color page, node label turns red. A feature or field in the OFX plugin picture source seems to be missing in the inspector. Do I assume the red label indicates an error condition? It's telling you it needs to be cached for real-time playback. Aha. Okay, no problem. So if I were to right-click on this and went to node cache, it's already on. So how do I force this node to cache? Let's see if that's something that can be done. Okay, render cache, memory, Fusion memory cache. Okay, so now that I know what it is, let me do a better search here. Davinci Resolve. Node. Node cache. And I need to also, I guess, look at it in preview. Davinci Resolve manual.pdf. The 4,000 page Resolve manual. August 2024 edition. So I'm going to search for node cache. We'll start there. Okay, the node cache, which is a separate level of caching from the Fusion output cache, can be triggered in several different ways, corresponding to the three different purposes it serves. When enabled by turning on Smart Cache, nodes with processor-intensive operations, along with all nodes appearing upstream in that grade's node tree, are automatically cached, meaning that, for example, if node 1 and 2 are cached, you can continue adjusting nodes 3, 4, and 5 to your heart's content without needing to re-render your grade to the cache. Operations that trigger caching include noise reduction, motion blur, and any Resolve effects or OFX plugin that's added to a node. That's what I have. So if you've added a Resolve effects to a node that's capable of playing in real time, but that node is being flagged for caching anyway, you can force caching off for that node by right-clicking it and choosing Node Cache Off in the contextual menu. You can manually force any node to cache if it and its upstream nodes are compromising performance, but somehow not being automatically flagged by right-clicking a node and choosing Node Cache On from the contextual menu. You can also turn on the Render Cache Color Output option for a clip in the timeline of either the edit or color pages. This forces that clip's entire grade to be cached via the node cache all the way through the node's tree's output. This can result in higher real-time performance in the edit page at the expense of needing to completely recache that clip whenever you adjust any part of its grade. If you apply OFX... Oh, shoot. Damn it. Come back. If you apply Resolve effects or OFX filters to clips in the edit page, they will also be cached via the node cache. You can choose which OFX cache. When caching happens. Okay, here we go. When caching is enabled, cache indicators along the bottom of the timeline ruler of the edit page timeline shows the status of the cache. Red means to be cached, while blue means has been cached. In the color page, cache indicators are node specific, showing the node in your grading node tree, including all upstream nodes, at which caching will take place. Cache indicator seen as a red colored node number. Yep, so I got two of those. Caching happens in two ways. First, when either smart or user caching is enabled. Caching always happens whenever you play clips with red caching indicators. So if I just hit play, it should cache. Second, if background caching is enabled in the project settings, it's turned on by default, and you don't make any changes to your project for a user-definable number of seconds, this is adjustable in the master settings panel. Caching will automatically begin during periods of user inactivity, so feel free to use this as an excuse to take those coffee, mate, or tea breaks. Davinci Resolve will keep on working for you. Okay, so then what I want to make sure then is that I have under playback, my render cache, it's under user. Okay. And so I think if I try to play this clip, okay, it's obviously very slowly going through this clip. Okay, so I'm going to stop it. But let's see if that was enough to trigger the rendering of the cache. I just really feel like I ought to be able to right click on this and hit, you know, render node cache or whatever. But apparently not. Render cache fusion output. It's on auto. And there's nothing happening specifically in Fusion here. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is look at my master settings here and look at, okay, optimize media and render cache. There's proxy, optimized, render cache format, enable background rendering after 5 seconds. Automatically cache transitions in user mode, automatically cache composites in user mode, automatically cache fusion effects in user mode. I think, yeah, go ahead and automatically do those. That's fine. We'll automatically do all those. Cache files location. I don't know where it was putting that currently, but I guess in there. I'll save that. So the question, is it working in the background? I do not know. Oh, but everything in my cache went red just now. because I changed drives where my cache goes, which is fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave it alone. I'm going to take a little break and I'm going to see how long it takes to cache everything, and then I'll come back. So I'm going to stand up, stretch, get some sun, touch grass, refill my water, that sort of thing. I'm going to let this do some cache rendering, and I shall return. So stick around and don't go anywhere. Hello. Welcome back. Oh! Just shot ice cream across the room. Nope. Guess I'll find that later. Let's see. Let's check in on Resolve here. Okay, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a lot of blue and red lines down here at the bottom. See if I can zoom in on one for you. So see here that there's like this blue line above this stack of stuff. There's this real thin blue line right here. That's stuff that has been rendered. And then this red line here, that is stuff that it is yet to render. These are red, those have not been rendered. These are blue, these have been rendered. And I can see right here that this little clip is red and has not been rendered. And I can see that my node is still red and has not been rendered. And there's a whole bunch of red stuff all down the timeline here. I guess I had it plugged in. I guess I had it pointing to I don't know what I had it pointing to. But I pointed it to my new 12 terabyte drive. So, hopefully, but it looks like we're going to be here for a bit, waiting for all that stuff to re-render. So, in the meantime, what is it that you would like to know from me, or about me, or about the movie? I would like to know who you are. I would like to know who's watching. It says someone is watching. Is that true? Is someone watching? Oh boy. Well, I need to let this run until it gets everything rendered, I guess. Well, looks like this is going to take a minute. So, I might sign off and do something else and come back. Any objections? Going once. When I come back, I'll be back better than ever. You really won't believe it when I come back how good it's going to be. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching me work on this really tedious stuff and not get very far. I'm going to attempt to play the trailer, but usually that doesn't play very smoothly. But we're going to give it a shot anyway. So enjoy the trailer, and then I'll sign off. Talk to you next time.